how true is it, or how wrong is it to think that VFX are only for the biggest of films? Is that completely wrong, a little bit wrong, or somewhat in the middle wrong?
I think that's completely wrong. Okay. And I think there is nothing made today that doesn't involve some form of digital manipulation on it in any way. So even the soaps that we watched back in England, like Coronation Street, they're graded. Occasionally they have recourse to do visual effects when they want to wipe out the cast. Everything has digital visual effects on it, which is just digital manipulation. And therefore that tool for a storyteller to be able to suspend the audience's disbelief is available across all medium. Even domestically, you can download software that we use professionally for free. As I believe we use a compositing software called Nuke, and anyone can go home and download that, and they can make movies in high resolution and use digital visual effects. So it's available to everybody. And as people begin to understand, I mean, not everybody in independent film has had the experience of being able to use digital visual effects. And there's obviously associated pre-received ideas about how expensive things are. You know, I'm very personally proud to have been involved in a film, Ex Machina, Alex Garland's movie, that actually is one of the first films, I think it's a budget of circa £10 million, that harnessed digital visual effects to portray one of the leading characters, who was completely replaced. Fantastic performance. As one of the main characters is a I don't want to spoil the film for you if you haven't seen it, but is a robot, and she's been digitally replaced throughout the entire film. So it's right there as a part of the storytelling. So this to me is fabulous. Everyone should start using it more.
I mean, Nick, I guess as a producer, you know, coming at it from your angle, do you quail when you see a VFX shot in the script, or do you know now that there are kind of ways to do this stuff?
No, I think it's really. I mean, just like when you wanted to be an independent filmmaker before 20 years ago or whatever it was, when I was starting out, you couldn't imagine making an independent film without a camera. And I think now it's become another piece of the armory. You can't imagine making a film without digital effects. And I think there's just got this stigma about it that people think that it's Jurassic Park and you've got to create dinosaurs and it's going to cost you $20 million just to create a dinosaur. I mean, Will and I, we've worked very closely together. We've known each other most of our lives. And one of the things that I think is so exciting and has been, and I've been on that journey with Will for Milk VFX, is coming up with different ways of being economical in the visual effects world. And what's really interesting is, having worked in a number of different areas over my professional career, I've worked in commercials, huge commercials. I've worked in small drama, big drama. And what you realize is that each different discipline has its own rules and regulations and thinks that they can only work in that way. And what's really interesting is, if you've worked in a couple of different places, you start to learn different tricks. And what Will so cleverly has pioneered over at Milk VFX, and other people have been jumping on this bandwagon over the last 10 years, is coming up with a pipeline and a way of working, because it's the philosophy that makes it cheaper. Obviously, the tools have got cheaper over the years, but it's the mindset that makes it cheaper, and not having rafts and rafts of people making ridiculous decisions and then changing it and changing it and changing it. I would say that the way that we worked on Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, although that looks like a big budget production, and albeit it is as far as television is concerned, it's probably a quarter of the budget of a season of Game of Thrones. Yet we still have, I think it was 1,200, 1,300 visual effects shots. And what you're having to do, in the same way that you're trying to tackle that with sets and lighting and actors about how you can get those all cheaper, you can now apply similar mentality with visual effects. And for me, it's inconceivable to be making a film that doesn't have visual effects in one way or another, because if you're not using visual effects, you're not competing.